So then the rules of men
Yes.
would be fear, which creates this obstacle for our faith.
Yes.
So then the rules of men
Yes.
would be fear, which creates this obstacle for our faith.
Yes. And I think that's one of the best ways for us to figure out whether a rule comes from God or a rule comes from men is like in both instances there's fear. But the question is, who are you afraid of? So when I'm at work and I'm having a problem and a lie is gonna get me out of it, the reason why I don't lie is not because I am afraid of my boss. The reason why I don't lie is not because I'm afraid that telling a lie is not going to get me out of the problem. The reason why I don't lie is because I fear God. And because I fear God and I respect God, I tell the truth even when it harms me at work because God says so. But the time when you know you're going by the rule of man is when there's a particular rule about how you're supposed to do something, and you do the thing because you're fearful of what they will say about you or what they will do to you, and the thought doesn't even cross your mind about what God's going to do to you. There was a man that was born blind from his birth. When he was healed, God healed him. Everybody knew that God healed him. But they set up a rule that if anybody talks about Jesus and says something good about Jesus, they're going to be punished in the synagogue. So now this blind man's parents are brought before the leaders of the synagogue. Like, this is your son. He was blind and now he can see. Anybody who has a child that was sick and the child was healed, especially when the sickness was detrimental, you are happy about that. But yet when the parents stand in front of the Pharisees, they're like,
go ask him, he's of age.
Ask him, because they know any answer they give, they're going to get kicked out of the synagogue. So because they're fearful of the leaders, they don't share their testimony because they don't want to break the rule. So man-made rules always make you afraid of men. And God rules always make you and when I use the word fearful, I don't mean scared per se, but always make you respect God. And I think that any faith that will stand will be faith that's in the Word of God. And one of the biggest problems that we have today is that we as Christians, we need to get more into the Word. There's a lot of people that are talking about the love of God and talking about how God is love and so forth, right? Which is very different than years ago because people didn't talk about how God was loving and the love of God. And so people were talking about God as a God of judgment and he's a destroyer of the unrighteous and stuff like that, which is true. But what I found was, it's one thing to know that God is love. It's one thing to understand what that means. So here you have it. There's a woman with an issue of blood who's sick for 12 years. She goes to the doctor. She's trying to find help and she's doing everything she can do. Now, I understand that God is a God of love. But because God is a God of love, the way that He designed the world is for my healing to come to me through faith. I have to be in a relationship with God to allow God to help me. Because if I'm not in a relationship with God, then I'm not going to be helped. So it's not a matter of that I'm doing something so God will heal me. It's a matter of that I'm trusting in God, and that trust now gives Him permission to move into my life. Because the way that God works, God is not, He's not an invader. He doesn't just run into people's life and just take over their life. He's not a demon. He doesn't try to control people. He's a God of faith. That He says, if you open up your heart to me, I will enter into your life. But if you don't want me, I'm a gentleman. I will not push myself on you.